I'm Jenny Skarupa. I work with McKinley Community CSA. We are an urban agriculture project here in North Minneapolis. We are here this morning at one of our pocket farm sites. We need to remove an ash tree that is here. The ash tree is girdled at its base and it has considerable, what seems to be maybe storm damage, and it needs to come out. It's unsafe. We've been very fortunate to find an arborist here in North Minneapolis that is willing to work with us in our organization and find a price that we can afford. So that's great, and another way to invest in our community.
This is what would be called a hazard tree. If you look at the base, it's over 50% girdled of live tissue. In this case, if it failed, it would land on the garden and perhaps any gardeners. You've got a couple of tons of wood there, which in itself is dangerous, but when it's moving and then hits something, it's especially dangerous. It's a climber's tree because you're surrounded with boulevard trees that you don't want to damage, as well as the garden itself. So we'll be climbing up in the tree and cutting sections and lowering them, and then taking the brush and the tree trunk to a reputable disposal site that will use it for refuse-derived fuel or for gardening mulch. We'll like to use as little petroleum and as much manpower, person power as possible in doing this. You'll probably see me spike into the tree. Climbers, real climbers, don't spike into any living tree unless they're taking it down, and they're only using the spikes because of the nature of the mass that they're moving. You have to have stability to make sure everything's safe. We like to think if you look around the site here, whether it's an urban site or any other site, that safety is a premium, because I can't make a living if I get myself injured, and certainly I can't make a living if other people are injured on my job site. Clear. Neighborhood, and I like to hire people in my own neighborhood, so I like to make it come full circle. Why people should hire an arborist versus going out and buying a chainsaw and doing it themselves. Our monthly journal in the profession shows that 1 out of 5 arborists that's in a fatality is due to contact with energized electrical wires. The other fatalities seem to be happening to young or older men over the age of 50 who think they can take care of a tree by climbing up on a ladder. More often than not, they don't anticipate where the limb is going to move. They aren't using any protective gear. They're standing on a ladder. They lose their balance. If the saw doesn't hit them and kill them, the tree limb does. So you got to think twice and at least call an arborist. Most of us are more than happy to go consult people for whatever amount of time it takes, because we happen to like trees. We're not just tree huggers, we're tree workers. It's a true green industry in that regard. You'd end up smashing the stop sign and possibly breaking the limb on that maple. So that's not really a professional standard I'll want to reach for. So it's a big long limb, it weighs a lot. We got to swing it out of the way and then lower it. It's not your typical chainsaw. Steel is a very well-known brand, but this is an arborist chainsaw. It's fairly light for the power it gives you, and it will cut fairly large limbs, but it also has a top handle. So if you want to get in the tree business, you're going to have to get a tree saw. Here is one of 2 spikes, or gaffs, climbing gaffs. Orange is my crew color. Everybody knows my things are orange. And again, only on a takedown. These are what's commonly called a pull saw. And this hook here is so that you can set your climbing lines and maneuver branches to go certain directions after you've started cutting them. And then, the best part of my climbing gear, this is Jeeves. Jeeves came out of a dumpster.
Perfect.
Tree guys always do that. They always grab stuff and make use of it. It's just in our blood. We have any number of lengths of arborist climbing line. It's not like rock climbing line because it's not dynamic, it's a static line, which means it'll stop you in a fall, but it doesn't stretch like climbing line does. So you wouldn't go off and use your rock climbing line for tree work. But we do use standard rock climbing gear, pulleys, beaners. We work with a lot of knots that maybe most people aren't familiar with. It's better to use rope than it is to use something mechanical. This line is rated to 5,500 pounds braking strength. So most of us aren't going to worry about falling from the line. Then you have a saddle, climbing saddle. It's not a rock climbing saddle because it weighs a lot more, and it's meant for me to be able to stay in the tree comfortably and leverage my body and my energy to reach and attack different limbs so that I can work for a long period of time without having a sore back or whatnot. Other than that, we'll pull out the big chainsaws when we get down lower. That's where everybody gets excited for the fun part. Thank you.
Yep.
Now you'll have fun watching us work. Pretty easily though. It would be an unfortunate thing. Yeah, I know. That would be great. Then you could always point that out, in the future, Thanksgiving, whatever. Yep, there he goes. Pull my arm out.
Do I toss me or time on? We are home people, we know everybody. Hold it up, hold it. Nice.
How can we get a hold of you, Joe?
Oh,
what is your tree service?
Yeah, very fine tree service, very fine tree care. I call it that because the vast majority of the people I work with are ladies, and they like trees to get tender care, which I like to give. So you'd call me at 612-521-1229 on your rotary dial, or on your digital dial, 481-1147. Fully insured, no claims, 8 years. This is what I do, and I love it.